Well, that ain't what I asked.
Okay. Well, we're jumping back in, even though last time we got cut off right before I was about to tell you my secret ingredient to my secret ingredient soup.
What? That is still pretty loud, even after I turned it down.
Secret is to skin them first.
That is actually... I turned that way down. How is it so loud?
I don't know. Apparently, Chrono Trigger doesn't give two craps about your volume preferences.
I guess... Well... That is so... I am literally not moving.
Neither does the rock controller.
Yeah, this thing's a piece of junk. I forget. Last time we went into the distant past and fought a bunch of heebie-jeebies. Where is it at?
Well, last time we almost drowned in our shop.
Yes, I thought about... I don't know. You could have done a gag to continue that, but I don't know if I would pretend we're underwater.
How would you do that? Wow. Okay. Funny thing though. There was a guy who did like.
There's a guy who did drown in his shop.
There's a guy who did a funny bit on Asian languages. And
where are we going with this?
This was hilarious. And he said he's going through like all the different ones, and he goes, Cantonese sounds like an epic lightsaber battle. And he's like, like in the way he does it. And then he gets to, I think it's
technically a separate language, or is it?
Cantonese?
I never understood all the variants of Chinese.
Yeah.
Are they like truly linguistically distinct, or are they just dialectically?
It may be purely dialectic between Cantonese and...
Nope, can't avoid the Charizard knockoffs.
And what would the other one be? Mandarin. But
I forget.
But I do know that he talked about Vietnamese, which is hilarious because I've actually met some people that are Viet, and he goes, Vietnamese sounds like a ghost that's drowning. And he's like, the way he does, I'd have to show it to you later. Like, I'm not going to be able to mimic it.
Yes, let's not make this any worse.
It's really funny. It's my favorite.
I've gotten to a point that I feel like I could consistently distinguish the big three. That being Japanese, Chinese, and Korean are distinct enough. It's like, okay, I think I could I could probably guess if I had to. As for the other like Pacific, Southeast Pacific countries, I'm like, it's
Near East.
Be a crapshoot. Yes, the Aztecs.
The Aztecs.
Now the writing is easier to distinguish. Japanese
and Chinese are fairly easy to tell.
Well, Korean I actually find to be the easiest.
I don't know that I've seen enough Korean.
You just may not necessarily recognize it as such. I used to go to school with a guy who was Korean who actually tried to like show how some of the writing works out. Because it's fascinating. It's not characters, at least as far as I understand. It looks like characters, but they are actually words assembled from... basically
lines more in.
It's like basically, I mean, it's essentially just geometric shapes that you put together in such a way as it forms a word. But the thing that makes it distinct is that it is geometric shapes. Like you'll see circles and squares and perfect straight lines. I have
seen that, yeah.
Whereas you don't get as many of the sort of swoopy curved lines as you would get in the others. The main thing is that I couldn't by any means distinguish between Japanese and Chinese. I don't think
traditional.
Well, the Chinese don't call them kanji. The kanji is the Japanese word for like a symbol that's a word.
Yeah.
I assume the Chinese have a word for that same thing, but Chinese is all that, where it's like each symbol is a word.
Right.
Japanese is a mix of symbols that mean words as well as just symbols that are phonetic. So there's a mix. I believe Thai is the one that looks like noodles.
Which is ironic. Noodles? You were really writing with the term noodles?
Don't noodles. I just realized these were called Kilwalas.
Kilwalas?
And I think part of my brain died.
I'll tell you, it's the same brain cell that they use to create them. It's the single brain.
Hey, hang on, you're saying they're parasitizing my brain to create these?
They're literally.
They parasitized my brain to name these 30 years ago.
Something died in your brain that night.
I just zapped these things with the power of the elements, and that didn't do squat.
Well, now you're giving it a rain dance.
Giving it what for? How is this thing alive? I've blasted it with every element.
Killwalla doesn't give 2 craps.
Well, I gave 3, apparently, so that was enough. Who's hurt? He's the most hurt. Comb the Killwalla. No, I don't need healing. I need to blast this guy into next week. 109, there you go. These things are tough. Good grief. Blast it.
Send that Killwalla to the barbershop to get cut.
Okay. That was awfully to the point. Anyway. Asian languages, I guess, is what we're talking about this week. Thai is the weird sort of noodle letters. I don't know that I could distinguish the rest of them, Vietnamese or any of them.
I wish
I do think Korean and Chinese tonally are more tonal than Japanese, even though technically all of them are tonal
Japanese tends to have a lot of. I also know the K, like the K sound, as well as the I that is pronounced like an E sound. There's a lot of those in.
Oh, that's Japanese. Actually, well, that's okay. I'm pretty sure I being pronounced as E is actually the rule rather than the exception in most parts of the world.
Right, that's true. But I'm saying those two things, the
thing,
K sound.
Now, that one thing that is easy, although it's a shame that you have to resort to it, is the classic L versus R's. The Japanese do not pronounce L's, and the Chinese do not pronounce R's.
They don't pronounce L's.
So the whole flied lice joke, that's a Chinese-only joke. The Japanese are fine with L's. They have lots of them. Or no, I just reversed myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese, I believe, generally pronounce L's as R's because I don't think they use L's very commonly in their actual vocabulary. But then I think it's the opposite for the Chinese. And we're making sweeping generalizations about cultures we probably don't understand. This is a sensuous motion she's making.
I've made that joke before.
Well, but I think it's highlighted by the fact that she's not moving. Like, if this was just a walk, I could sort of get past it. But the fact that she's doing it in place means this is just some sort of dance.
I'm getting 90s rap vibes from this.
I am not. I don't know how you are.
I could expound, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
It's very G-funk. That's all I'm going to say.
You're losing me. I don't know what any of this means. Dactyl nest. This is where we were fighting. This is where we got lost. Oh, yeah, it's this guy. Here we see the demon satyr in its natural habitat.
Groping at the air like a pair of freshly cut, I don't know, rutabagas.
What? You've never watched any David Attenborough.
What?
Well, hello. He's the old classic. Cave ape schist. Diddy. We didn't make that joke last time.
I thought you were making a Diddy joke, not a... When you said Diddy, I was not following initially.
Well, how would Diddy have gotten involved? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he would have tried.
With a lot of things.
As the evidence would suggest, he would have tried very hard to get involved.
Not that far from him.
Oh, I'm getting blasted.
Are you?
That's what I was just...
This is devolving.
It's too easy. Quickly. It's too easy. Heal the boy. Not the ape. That would be me. I'm not the ape. I'm not making help. What is this weird thriller dance he's doing? Because this is thriller. When you're fighting apes in forests. Gotta ask questions about your life. I don't know that song as well as I thought I did at the start of that joke. Whose attack is this? Yes, do it. Whatever it is. How about you blast this fellow with fire?
You know, when which one is which?
We
Which
bad.
one's
We're bad. I am in a bad way, and she's in a mega bad way. Oh, we're all dying. Oh, it didn't hurt that much that time. You should
Slut
heal.
does that one particular attack. The one with her.
Yeah, that one. I know the one.
Her hair standing on end. I get major like I Dream of Jeannie vibes.
Well, with the pants, I mean, I think that may have been intentional.
It's a great show, by the way.
You're gonna go on record saying that.
I mean, it's a very classic show in the same way as like Leave It to Beaver, which is.
You're not helping your case. I don't think these are shows anyone would admit to liking.
Well, okay. It was classic television back in the day.
Well, I mean, okay. Classic television is not the same thing as good.
Is good. But you guys have a weird issue with slapstick, and I don't know why.
But I also think you're reaching across multiple genres there.
No, I'm not.
Well, you're comparing Abbott and Costello to, like, weird 70s sitcoms. Those aren't the same category.
Well, that's true, but I mean...
Prepare for the hemorrhoid attack. Once you see it, it's actually quite disturbing. If you weaponized hemorrhoids, they deal psychic damage as well as regular.
It's what every doctor has to deal with after they go home. He shot me with his hemorrhoids.
I thought somehow the doctor had to
It's going to be in me.
I was thinking the doctor for some reason had hemorrhoids. No. I'm not paying attention. I'm dying here. We're all getting hemorrhoids today. How do you get hemorrhoids?
Well, I mean, one good way of doing it is pushing too hard.
Is that the only way? Because it seems like there's a malfunction going on if you can't do the job. Like, pushing's part of it. There's no pushing. Sure
there is. When you dump...
Do you just let gravity do the business?
You never, like, dumped a turd the minute you sit on the toilet? Like,
well, I mean, I suppose, but
so quick that it's like, woo! That one almost didn't make it.
But that's not all. Usually you got to finish with... You got to follow through on that.
What? I think you have hemorrhoids and you just don't want to admit it.
Well, but I mean, how do you not... So you're telling me you're
telling me most normal people don't have to put their bottoms back up inside them after they're done?
I'm simply saying you're just supposed to sit and let gravity do the business is what it sounds like.
Well, I mean...
I prefer to be more thorough is all I'm saying. I don't want to go to the bathroom multiple times a day. I'd rather get it all in one.
Oh, dear.
How did you do it, Mr. Papa Ho Ho? Is that his name or is that the name of this attack? I mean, his name is Schist, obviously. We know this. And the more I'm thinking about it, the more fitting it is. What is he... All right, well, we've got this weird rock creature. How does he attack? Well,
I'm going to tell you.
Okay. Let's celebrate. One of us is half dead, and the other one is all the way. I got a fang.
Fist bump.
From the Schist. Just having some dental work done on my Schist.
Just putting some hemorrhoid cream on my bum.
I thought you were going to try to twist that in some way.
Not like twisting an arm.
Can you twist?
You twist your hemorrhoid. That's a whole different different animal.
You obnoxious, weird harpy thing. Oh, it's the avian rex. I forgot about you. Let's all heal each other because we're dying forever today. What's the group heal? That's the group heal ability. I need the group healing. Okay, we're all dying.
Take care of those ovarian cysts quick.
We didn't make a cyst joke last time. We should have.
I just did.
No, I'm saying I'm surprised it didn't occur to us until then, or until now, rather. I am getting pounded. Well, the weird flying turkey harpies.
Turkey harpies. I don't know. I mean, I think the other way of doing it is not.
Are there multiple ways to do it? Well, okay.
I mean, I'm just saying. There's pushing and there's not pushing.
Okay. You lowered the tone. That's what you went and did.
Apparently, we were low on tone.
All right. Well,
Okay, we have to go back to those.
yeah, we died. We don't. This is back when games didn't hold your hand. They did, however, give you hemorrhoids. Can I outrun you? I don't think the answer is yes. Nope. Answer is no. Yeah, this is the knockoff. They'd call it something like Char Lizard or something like that.
Char Lizard.
I'm just mashing. Everybody attack the guy nearest you. Oh, why? Okay, she wasn't even prepared. Did we complete the conversation from last time? We were talking about IP and UP. We all pee for ice cream.
No. Don't eat the yellow snow.
Lemon sherbet.
And a packet of sherbet lemons.
Provoke the monster.
He's a... What did she just do?
I wasn't looking. I was having to look at it.
Did you watch that?
Of course not. I've got a menu. I've got to scroll at the speed of light.
That was fascinating to witness.
I'll do it again. Provoke the monster.
Watch her.
Is that what we call provoking? I mean, in a sense, I suppose it provokes something.
It promotes something too. Blood flow.
And hemorrhoids.
I would hope not.
All right, ice. That's what you're supposed to do. Cold shower and all that. See, I tell you, something about this game devolves faster than most. What is he doing? Oh, that's how he calls the lightning.
You want me to bring the thunder?
192 experience points. And a horn. We have indeed leveled up in horn. I think she's done her fair share of that today.
She's leveled her horn.
She's leveled up the horn. We've dialed the horn up to 11. Kill Walla.
Squonky.
Fire whirl. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just let's provoke again since it's so interesting. Heal me. Whoa, that attack does mondo damage. I'm glad I did that there. So I don't think the base elemental attacks are that useful. The combined attacks is where the juices flow.
Well, you need.
It's because
you need to get by with a little help from your friends.
I was gonna say it's because this is gonna come across as racist given the beginning.
What?
I was gonna say it's because it's a Japanese game. The horn's baked in. It's an anime adjacent game. It's baked into the DNA of the thing. Okay.
Yeah, but okay. I'm gonna leave that.
I do. I'd like you to. I wish you should.
Oh dear.
I mean, they're known for it. I think they're even proud of it in some contexts.
I'm sure they are.
All right, people. Fine, I'll meet you in your site. So now it's recontextualizing. Is this meant to be some form of sensual dance from the males? They're not doing very well if it is. Although we don't know the nature of whatever. Yeah, I was going to say, we don't know the nature of whatever that is.
It could be that's.
Could actually be some sort of.
What?
I was going to say something untoward.
Something borrowed, something blue.
Some sort of proto-phallus.
Pre-phallus.
There's just something about this motion that doesn't sell. He's fondling some invisible orbs. You can pick what kind. Fill that in with your own. All right, K-Vape, time to schist. Question is, have you got a paddle? Oh, that was useless. It only hit him. I forget that there's like the location-based attacks that I can get more than one going at a time. Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about. I Dream of Jeannie. And whether or not you're willing to stand by. Because that's the thing. You didn't just say it was classic. You said that was a good show.
I enjoyed it when I was a kid.
That's what I was.
It's been a while, so it could be an Indian in the cupboard situation. I don't know.
You can't just use that in that way.
I'm just saying.
You're going to get the racism allegations aren't improving. Well, it could be an Indian in the cupboard for all we know. Oh, boy. No one knows what that means except for you and me. Are we going to get stomped again?
I'm going to have the feds show up.
He's gonna, well,
you have Indians in your cupboard?
I don't think the feds are going to show up for racism allegations. He's stomping my yard.
Not just allegations.
Actual racism, don't you know? I'm no neophyte. I'm a proper racist.
Interesting is I think you and I were debating this the other day about the whole, or maybe it was Danica, about the context of
we're getting pummeled.
Opening your own gambling house and the fact that it has to be Native American, apparently. I didn't think that was true. I thought maybe it was just like the majority
it's illegal otherwise. The only reason they can do it is because it's on their land.
But that's absurd. Why is it illegal, period?
Why does the government do anything it does?
So
what do you mean we do it?
I'm saying like it's...
What are you saying?
It is legal. Like, I mean,
it's illegal. It is illegal on U.S. soil.
But, okay.
Have you not noticed that they're all on reservations? That's why they are where they are.
The pedanticism, though, is like next level.
Well, I mean, call it closet racism if you want.
I'll call it...
Yeah, fine. You just can't be expected not to gamble. So therefore, we're going to have to make an exception for you.
Well, not only that, but it's like, I'm sorry, like...
they also don't have to pay certain taxes as well.
Like
go to the casino, buy your cigarettes. That's where you save all your tax money.
Well, I'm just saying Choctaw Casino or whatever off in Seattle is
was on a reservation.
off of I-20.
Yes, it was on a reservation. Reservations. As a kid, I always thought reservation was like you had to almost.
I know that they're not.
It was like you're almost going out into a compound in the middle of nowhere. It's like no, they are. It's just land. Like they still build highways on them. There's still shopping malls there.
Which is what I say is again, it's convenient because the government, when it decides it wants to build a road through there, goes, no, this is a necessary thing that it's. Well,
no, they probably still have to get permission, but I think they let them. Oh, we escaped at that time. I didn't have to fight the char lizards. I'm almost certainly going to have to go through this though. Yep. Oh, you son of a gun! All right, well, if you don't fight them separately, you'll fight them together. There's my Taoist proverb for the day. Now we got a runner kill wallow. Those are the worst kind. All right, I got to make sure someone's on the healing duty. I mean, obviously the chick who can heal should be on the healing duty, but what I mean is I got to pay attention to the health because it goes away fast. Yeah, classic is not the same thing as good. I think we would agree on that.
Well, yes, but...
I mean, was Miami Vice good? Or is it just a thing people know about? I feel like a lot of stuff from
I even know about it.
I think a lot of stuff from the past gets by just because of being known. But I've never seen it other than what, the...
Could be the pioneering nature of some of those. Like Magnum P.I. was arguably the first.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of, not Miami Vice. Magnum P.I. I was thinking of what's his head with the mustache.
Yeah, that's Miami. Or that's Magnum P.I.
I almost said John Stossel. I know that's not it.
No, it's Tom Selleck.
I believe he is a man with a mustache, but not the same man with the mustache. I have to remain perfectly still. I'm just going to do a healing combined maneuver just because I'm not paying attention to who's healthy or not. Woo! That's a good move. I don't like this combat system. I believe I've said that more than once. Too many things to balance. Okay, I was about to say, if that thing didn't die from 210, I don't know what'll do it. No.
211.
Well. And then sometimes it just does nothing. Attack him. And you.
I mean, were there any classics that are like old classics that you watched that you were interested in?
I watched Columbo.
Was it good? I feel like
it's certainly
I remember watching a few
It's certainly a
episodes.
period. It's certainly of its time.
Because it's kind of noir vibes. I mean, a little bit.
Noir might be generous. It's a old school detective show. I'll tell you what sucks massively is I can't remember the name of it.
Vacuum.
Well, that was dumb. I was gonna like heroin or something. I was gonna pull a Jim Gaffigan. I don't know why it escaped me. Yeah, it completely is escaping me now, the name of it. It had the famous theme song. That's all I can remember right now is the theme song.
Talking about Andy Griffith?
No. It was of a similar. It was a similar thing to Columbo in that it was a detective show.
Oh, Perry Mason.
No, because that was a lawyer show. I mean, he did also solve crimes for some reason. I guess they thought lawyers, crime, similar enough. But I'm forgetting now. It was not Night Court, but it was of that era. Yeah, it's escaping me, but it was bad. I'll tell you that much. I'm not paying enough attention for this.
Have you ever engaged the horror drama at all, or the horror genre?
What are you? We've had many conversations about these things.
Well, but I mean, not like I'm talking like.
You're talking in TV, or you're talking in movies? Because we've talked plenty about movies.
Well, have we though?
I
know obviously we talked Lovecraftian horror.
Well, now I know how much of these you remember. We've talked about it many times, and how I've never found one that I thought really sold it.
Right, because most of it is like just gore.
Maybe the TV is where it's at. Maybe horror TV is more the thing, but I've never heard much about that. Well, we got more horn. We've upped our horn metal Okay, well. See? We got 1 times horn multiplier. Oh. What
was that? That was not the noise to make.
I thought I had
right after saying that. You literally just.
I thought I had run into it, so I was like, "Oh, dang it! I didn't."
I was just so on the nose.
Ooh,
I'm sorry.
Can I go around the weird village? I can. So why have I been going through that every time? I've already forgotten again what we were branching out. Horror TV shows, horror movies. Yeah, I watched Columbo.
That was horrifying.
I'm really annoyed that I can't remember the name of this dumb show because I want to bash it for how dumb it was.
Well, I don't. Inspector Gadget. I don't know.
I never actually watched the original animated show. The only one I know is the movie.
It's actually not bad. It's like I don't know. It's no like Pink Panther.
The thing that's annoying is that it's one of those things I know I would recognize it if I heard it. You should just look up like 60s detective show and see what comes up because I know I'd recognize it when I heard it.
I'll bring up
because it's got the theme song is the famous like ba ba dum ba ba that thing like that was it.
That's Inspector Gadget.
No. I didn't do that. I'd like to point out. Listen back and hear that that's not what I did. My point is it was bad. But I think it's one of those, like, it's famous for being one of the first detective TV shows. But it was...
Mannix?
No.
Ironside.
No.
Adam 12.
Are these TV shows?
Hawaii 5-0?
That was not from the 60s, was it?
I don't know.
I thought that was
The
way more
Fugitive.
recent. These are films. The Fugitive, A, not from the 60s,
These
and
are
B,
all
a
shows,
film.
apparently.
Okay.
Man in the Suitcase.
No.
The Saint.
No,
It
not.
Takes a Thief. Oh, that's interesting that was a show back in that. Mission Impossible.
No, these are not shows from this era, I swear.
They apparently are.
These are just vaguely heist-related films.
Dragnet.
Yes, and it sucked massively.
Dragnet is. The minute I saw it, I knew. Because it's really bad. I agree.
It's terrible. And yet it's like famous. Like the moment I heard the theme song, I was like, "Oh, this is where that came from."
Makes you wonder. It had 4 seasons.
That isn't that much from back in the day. I mean,
It's more than it deserved.
sure, but like TV was just the thing back then. People watched it because it was on. There was this
But
episode
there's
of Adam Savage's podcast when he talks about
bad shows, and then there's like bad. There's bad acting.
Ew,
I
I don't like when the orifice undulates. That was a most unsettling thing to witness.
Go back to your roids.
I forgot that I'm getting... Well, he is. Don't encourage him. I forgot that I'm getting wrecked.
Like, I mean, it's a bit of a... What is it called? There's one that is... Hey, this show is decently written, but it's got bad acting. And then others that it's like, hey, this has got pretty good acting.
Well, wasn't the whole thing with Dragnet is that it was like real stories that they just changed the names of?
Which is what made it horrible.
No, what made it horrible is the terrible acting and pacing and everything. I saw it was on TV one night, and my dad and I were making fun of it because of how crap it was. But it is literally just like characters walk in, deliver their line in literally an unbroken stream of monotone words, and we were just making. I'm not going to be able to improv it on command, but it was just the kind of thing where it's like. Not even, like, they'd walk up, say hello, continue on to the next thing they were saying without even a moment's pause. It's just like, this is not how people talk.
It's the whole, gross, mop it up. Now back to my...
I am spending all my time reviving, and I'm out of revive sticks.
Take a acetylene stick, cram it up. No. That's not what I meant. I got unsavory really fast.
As if we've been savory this whole time. With the hemorrhoid spewing.
Salty, but maybe not unsavory. I don't know.
We are just getting our...
Schist handed to us. You know it, the protein schist.
We are out of revives. Just sit there and dance, lady. It'll all be over soon. Yeah, crouch. That'll help. Yeah, volcanic hemorrhoids.
She just has to lay down and die.
These things suck, or more accurately, they do the opposite of that. Yeah, but it was terrible. Really, really bad. When was the Twilight Zone, though? Because that was of that era, wasn't it? Wasn't that a 60s thing? Why was that so much better than everything else of its time?
I think it was older.
Than the 60s?
59.
Wow. Well, okay, that's hardly older than the 60s.
I'm just saying it was like OG.
And it was on for a long time, so most of its running would have been in the 60s.
7 seasons. No, sorry, not 7. 5 seasons.
Oh, that's not as long as I thought. But yeah, Adam Savage was talking in a podcast where saying TV was just a bigger thing back in the day because it was one of the few forms of entertainment where shows that would, like, if a modern show had the ratings that a show that got canceled in the 60s had, it would be like one of the highest rated shows. Because you're going, people just watch TV because they could. It was all that, or more accurately, they had to. It was the only entertainment. So something that today would be a award-winning series would get canceled back then if it had the same viewer numbers. Nope. Oh, and I forget that these things come back anyways. I don't like you dumb things.
Shows from the 1940s. Let's go back. Ah, Alfred Hitchcock, of course.
Yeah, TV shows.
Apparently.
That's interesting.
Sunset Strip.
For some reason...
Bonanza. I didn't realize that was that old. It's a 59.
Well, that's not the 40s, though.
No, it's between 40s to 50s, sorry.
It's hard to even conceive of there being TV shows at that time because TV was still so new.
The oldest one on this list looks like it is Hitchcock.
I didn't know he ever did TV.
Let's see.
Ooh, no one's
Dennis the Menace was back then. Oh, Father Knows Best. That's why everybody references that. I see. Gunsmoke was 55.
See, okay, I thought for some reason I think that's a film too, wasn't it?
No, Gunsmoke was a very, very popular show.
It was the Western one. For some reason I thought
Lassie,
it was a film.
Okay.
From the 40s, really?
Well, it's 54, but still.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, who's
Who's
got time to watch TV in the 40s? Everyone was at war.
That's true.
I mean, the TV was only invented in like the 30s, wasn't it?
27, but yes.
Well, okay, so it wasn't a thing people had until the 30s.
The Abbott and Costello show. That was probably the earliest. It's 52.
Well, but see, that was more in the time of like talk shows where it was here's people doing.
Oh, and then there's Ed
sketch.
Sullivan. There it is.
Well, yeah, but see, again, that's the same kind of thing where it's a personality TV show. It's not like a plot.
Right.
It's not a plot-based episodic thing.
No, that's true. But I mean, that's still an interesting walk down the road. The Lone Ranger was in 49, apparently.
Huh. Well, wasn't the very, very first Batman show from the 40s? Not the Adam West one. There was the very first Batman appearance was shortly after the comic books, so it had to have been in the 40s. And it was like black and white, and I ran into them this time. I didn't avoid them.
What? I didn't realize Howdy Doody was that old.
I actually know nothing about that.
It's Howdy Doody time. It's 47.
The puppet show?
Yep.
Okay.
You're correct.
That's literally all I know about it.
Candid Camera apparently was from the 48s.
What? What? That sounds like something that would have existed in like the 90s. Mm-hmm. I mean,
To show you nothing's new under the sun.
Admittedly, I know nothing about it other than the name, but it sounds like basically a proto-punked.
A little bit, yeah.
It's just, what do people do when they don't know they're being filmed?
It's like, smile, you're on Candid Camera.
If anything, it seems like people in the 40s would have objected to such a thing. Government surveillance? What's this about?
Sounds like Al-Qaeda.
That wouldn't have been them back then. It would have been sounds like German nonsense to me.
Sounds like Nazi sympathizers. Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers? Wasn't it Buck Rogers?
No, the Roy Rogers show.
The
Red Skelton. I knew that one.
This thing's having an agitated wobble. There it goes.
The Real McCoys I never saw, but I heard about them.
So I guess the real question is, when did TV get good? Seems like the answer may have been in the 60s.
Well, let's find out.
When was Andy Griffith?
60s was...
Was Andy Griffith 50s? Seems like it could have been. Or when was Dick Van Dyke on TV?
All right. We're going to find out here. We have
Lost
in Space.
That was from an odd time where you'd have...
Oh, Star Trek. So 60s really was where it got good. Andy Griffith, yep, 60s.
Okay.
General Hospital.
Because that was in a time when you had weird shows
Days of Our Lives
that were like ostensibly fiction, but it was an actor name, like it was a famous actor's name, but they had a TV show that was like a sitcom almost. It's like obviously Dick Van Dyke was the famous one. But then
Which Batman was 66.
no, that's the Adam West one. I'm talking about the earliest Batman, which was not even like serialized. I think it was like there's only a handful of episodes of it.
Oh, Killing in Thailand. Here you go.
Yeah, so really the 60s is when TV became a thing.
Actually, TV, yeah.
Okay.
The Brady Bunch.
Or became TV as we know it, we should say. The controller has given up officially.
Mr. Rogers was 60s.
The controller has officially borked.
Borked. Well, that may be the end of this episode, friends.
No, we can't. We'll
Monsters.
We'll be ending it early again. That came out after the Addams Family, though, which was also 60s. Because it was a direct copy of the Addams Family. I can assure you the original Addams Family was the 60s.
64. The Monsters was 64 as well. So, I guess.
Yes, it was a copy job. Here's my hot take, which isn't probably that hot. And I don't know if you'll take it.
I won't.
I can't avoid that fight, no matter how clever I am. The Addams Family, I think, kind of peaked with the show. I do not like the 90s films, which is what everyone talks about when it comes to the Addams Family. Everyone's like, oh, the classic. And I think that's just because they grew up with them. But here's the thing. I don't think they get them right.
Yeah.
I think every Addams Family adaptation since then has made them, and this is going to sound like an odd critique, they've made them too weird. And that sounds silly because everyone's like, well, the whole point was that they were weird. But they didn't know they were weird in the 60s show. And that's what I think was funny about them. In some way, it's like they thought they were a normal family, which made them funnier and more interesting. And in some ways, you could even argue that it made them kind of the argument could be made, and I think there's reasonable argument in it, that they were sort of a critique of that era where I'm going to butcher it because I forget who and how it was said the first time I heard it. But it's like they were obviously an abnormal family, but they didn't know that.
Sure.
And so the fact that they were abnormal was based on the fact that they just were sort of socially unusual. And that was the point, is that everyone in the show who reacted to them strangely was like a normal person, and they thought they were normal people. So it's sort of more of a social commentary where it's like the only reason people think they're weird is because they just are eccentric.
Yeah.
Whereas in the later games, it's like, later shows and adaptations, the thing's gone again. They seem to be aware of their like outsider status.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they almost look at normal people like they're weird.
Yeah.
Like, you're the weird problem ones. Okay, the thing is skitzing in and out. Well, I'm getting me... I don't want to be too liberal with this. Feels a bit lowbrow.
Dick Van Dyke was 61.
Oh, that's even earlier. What? Okay, maybe I'm wrong about this, but that did have a vague sitcom-ish plot, right? Like, it wasn't a talk show where Dick Van Dyke came out and just...
Yeah, I think it was more like...
it ostensibly was about a group of people that were fictional, except he was just Dick Van Dyke.
Right, so it's basically like...
Which is weird.
Like Jerry Seinfeld. That's essentially what it was. It's like an early Seinfeld. It's a very similar vibe. Where
I
it's like
suppose, but Seinfeld wasn't... the show is what made him famous, wasn't it?
No, he was a comedian before. And that's what he used to do stand-up, and then he literally has that in the show because of the fact that was his thing.
I'm letting myself die because I'm so shook by this.
Well, like...
But, okay, but...
Get Smart. Oh, Get Smart.
The original,
But see,
yeah.
okay, here's the thing.
So Dick Van Dyke, though...
60s, early 60s, you have Dick Van Dyke, and then all the way to 69, you have, like, Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Like, that's a fairly broad
Scooby-Doo's old. So really, yeah, it seems like we were correct in saying it was the 60s.
Oh,
but,
62 was the Jetsons.
Yeah.
See, I would not have assumed that.
Oh, I would have. Have you seen the Jetsons?
Well, yeah, but sure. The Flintstones was the 60s.
Yes. This was when cartoons became a thing.
Well,
Cartoons as we understand them, at least. But here, I'm going back to this Dick Van Dyke thing because it throws me still. I mean, you make a good point. I can't refute it, but I want to for some reason. It doesn't feel right. Because
Oh, there's the monkeys.
I mean, I guess you're not wrong, though. Like, everything in Seinfeld was fictional, but it was just his name for some reason.
Yeah, because I mean, well,
And the
because
Dick
again,
Van
he
Dyke
was very
Show-
much just him. I mean, it was like,
Well, because, like, but it happened with, like, even, like, there was the Donna Reed show, which was random, where it's like, oh, it's Donna Reed, but she has, like, this fictional family, and but it's still her and her name. I'm like, I don't get that. It seems like it would break the immersion.
there's other shows like that.
Well, because was Dick Van Dyke in the show just Dick Van Dyke? Was it him being him, and everything else was fictional?
I imagine.
Because that's how Seinfeld was, where it's like he wasn't acting really; he was just being himself.
Right.
But was Dick Van Dyke just being himself? Because he was not known for being a comedian, was he? I don't think.
Well,
I mean, he was
certainly
being.
wasn't specifically a comedian in that show. I mean, it was funny, but it's got also a lot of like his own stuff as far as dancing and choreography.
I don't know. That's weird to me.
What else? Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest was that?
That was not from the '60s. I will.
64. The early Johnny Quest.
Oh, okay. You want to know what's funny? I was thinking of Johnny Test, the Cartoon Network show, and I was about to be like, I will fight you on this. It was not that old.
I may have been actually singing that.
That's why you threw me. I was like, no, I'm going to die at this very moment if that was in the 60s.
Well, actually, that one was good. Oh, Bugs Bunny. So the Looney Tunes were in the 60s. That makes sense.
Yes, I suppose.
Oh, the Banana Splits Adventure. So it was basically like early Wiggles.
You're throwing me with that one.
Well, I mean, it was like puppet people running about. It's very similar to the Wiggles.
Well, no, the Wiggles aren't puppets.
No, but they've got the weird random like dinosaur green lady that comes in and out, and then Captain Feathersword. You know what I'm talking about.
I do not at all. The dinosaur lady that comes in and out? I have no clue what this means.
I'm pulling up a picture of it.
I do not want a picture of the dinosaur lady that comes in and out. This dumb remote. It's not even giving me the courtesy of telling me when it's dying now. I mean, in some ways that's...
It's Dorothy, the dinosaur.
Yeah, it
remember
is,
her?
of course. I have never... Under what circumstances do you think I would voluntarily have watched The Wiggles?
When you were young.
They weren't on when I was young.
Well,
okay, I suppose I can't say that for certain.
remembered
If
that.
they were on when I was young, my parents loved me too much.
Captain America was on in 66. So,
I did-
59 was Bullwinkle. That's
I was not aware Captain America had a TV show that old.
Yep.
Was it animated or was it live action?
It's animated.
So he predates, like, the animated Batman and everyone else?
Yay.
I never knew he had a show at all.
66. He doesn't predate Batman.
Well, he predates the animated Batman.
Yeah, that's true.
I
Popeye the
thought,
Sailor Man.
for some reason, I thought Batman was the first superhero cartoon.
Archie show. Pink Panther was 60.
I don't know why I thought that.
Top Cat was 61?
When was He-Man? That was 80s, wasn't it?
I actually don't know.
It seems like it would be 80s.
Space Ghost was 66? That show has been going on forever.
Are you sure you weren't just watching reruns? Because the things you've showed me of it seems like it could have been something that was made in the 60s
Yeah, but
by a bunch of smackheads.
that was a hilarious... Who played Zorak? I want to know.
I want to siphon your gas. Come on.
Oh, there was no Zorak in the original?
I don't think that was the thing I did. That was a useless attack that I didn't intend.
All right, now let's go to the 70s. We'll find out. I'm now just taking a walk.
The only thing I'm aware of is Columbo, which is very 70s.
Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay, I'm not surprised. Beverly Hillbillies would be 70s, wouldn't it?
Let me check. Hang on. I'm going to go through it this way like we did before.
Some ways, the 70s-ness of Columbo
Smash
is
was
part of what made it
70s.
charming in a way. It's like, this
Columbo
is so 70s, you can feel it.
Dukes of Hazzard. The Love Boat was 70s, which is not surprising.
No.
Three's Company, that's disturbing.
Why?
That was even. I mean,
That it existed?
I suppose it tracked in the 70s. People were pineappling all over the place in that.
Is this some sort of obscure sex act?
It's swinging.
Pineappling? I've never heard it. Why would it be referred to that way?
There's a weird code with pineapples. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not a swinger.
Something tells me you may.
I may what? Swing? I assure you I do not.
Well, how do you know about the... I have borked it. It has been borked.
Bjorn Borg.
I have been borked.
Me.
I don't know what I've done.
There. Kilwalla just fixed it.
I just fixed it. That was the strangest.
The Waltons was 70s.
I am not surprised. That show, we watched all of it when I was a kid.
Benson was 79. That actually may have been like one of the first.
Benson, I don't know what that is.
It's a like I'm wondering whether that was like one of the first African American leads as far as TV shows.
Huh. I thought that credit usually goes to what's his head?
Ooh.
Cosby show.
I turned into Bill Cosby.
As a cruel irony.
Yeah.
It's a shame that.
The Jeffersons.
Okay. Yeah, this thing is really starting to cause me problems. Like it's so bad that it's
Different Strokes. Battlestar Galactica. That makes
really.
sense.
I thought that was like a '90s show.
Nope. Charlie's Angels. Not surprised.
It was interesting.
Buck Rogers. So really,
yeah.
space shows were like.
Well, I mean, Star Trek started it probably.
Well, but that was 60s. Obviously.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They make sense that it would follow on from there. Joe Rogan actually made an interesting comment where he talked about it was actually surprisingly insightful. Not that I mean to insult the man, but I just didn't expect this level of insight from him. But he was talking about Cosby, Michael Jackson, and OJ were sort of the three cultural suicides isn't quite the right word, but it's like three major blows dealt to American culture. Where it's like we've got sports, we've got TV, and we've got music, and like the icons of all three of them were just obliterated. And I think that maybe, and he's like, that could be part of the reason we've all become so jaded and cynical. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, it turns out, Michael Jackson was a weirdo, but at least we've got, our wholesome family television, and it's like, oh, Cosby turns out to have been a terrible person too.
Was Michael actually a weirdo?
He was definitely a weirdo. Whether or not he was a malicious weirdo remains to be proven, but he was definitely not right.
Odd in that.
No, he was not well. We'll say.
Sure, I'll say that.
But the question is, was he
Sexually
sick?
not well. Yeah.
It's like, was he doing it because he was a sick, twisted man, or was he a sort of stunted man-child? And the evidence seems to suggest that it was the
latter.
My thing isn't working.
Starsky and Hutch.
Tell
me more about your ED.
Why'd you have to come back to it so forcefully? I thought it was going to slip unnoticed. Okay. Yeah, you could have decided, pal, you could have told me that before I set it up. Why are you stupid?
Now I'm framing it around this thing not working. You could have told me that before I set it up. The Muppets show.
I can imagine 70s. That actually being more apt the other way around, but okay. For the last time, I am not interested. Well, pal, you could have told me that before I set it up.
The Muppet Show was the 70s. The Amazing Spider-Man was the 70s.
Yeah, see, that's about the right time. So was the Batman in the 80s then? The Batman
That
animated?
makes a lot of sense if Batman was the 80s.
So he was
Bob
not anywhere
Newhart
near
was
being the first one.
70s.
All right, this thing is just
After
trashed.
school specials.
Well,
Beretta.
I got to buy a new one of these, apparently. You just keep talking about TV. This is interesting. The remote's frustrating me too much.
Star Trek.
Well, no, okay. I suppose I need to actually at least get to a death. I'm not just going to leave it sitting here.
Sixth Sense.
Was that a TV show? I thought that was a film.
I think it became a film later. Oh dear, there was a Spider-Man that was in the 70s that was made like maybe a horrible Japanese like anime misfire because it's really bad.
What is that? Oh, well, okay. So you're not just speculating that because it was bad, it must have been Japanese. It actually is written in Japanese.
Yeah.
Well, that's a different... I thought you were just being rude to the Japanese for some reason. Why was that showing up on a list of TV?
It is. I mean, it was a TV show.
Well, but
Wheel of Fortune.
exclusive to Japan, I would assume. Why are they telling us about it?
I don't know.
I mean, this would be a very long list if it was all TV shows ever written by decade. I imagine there'd be quite a lot of it in that case. Okay, we're out already.
70s, what's interesting is there's a ton of shows. Like, I'm having to scroll. Like, there's like probably 9 times the amount of shows in the 70s comparatively to the 60s.
Makes sense. Obviously, it's going to blow up after it gets famous.
Right, so...
Nope. We're all going down. We going down for real.
Not seeing any sort of...
Nope. Bye, fellas.
Sherlock Holmes was in the 70s.
Was that a show?
There was a show, yes.
Huh. That is a menacing look he's giving our corpses.
Flash Gordon.
Zoom in on that and make it sepia, and you'd have a metal album cover. That was a note for future me to edit that in and prove myself right. When was Mork and Mindy?
That was 70s. I already passed that.
Makes sense.
All right, so that's the 70s. Let's find out what the 80s hold, and then after that, we don't care.
Did the 90s have any good TV?
Not really.
Seinfeld was in the 80s, but didn't it continue into the 90s?
Probably, but I mean, that wouldn't...
Star Trek Next Generation started in the 80s and continued into the 90s.
All right. We're going to probably recognize most of these if it'll load.
Well, I wouldn't say most. I didn't watch much TV in the 80s.
Rosanna. No, Roseanne.
Roseanne Barr?
Yes.
As in that she's the actress?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Simpsons, Seinfeld.
Is that okay?
What?
No, I was thinking Family Guy because Simpsons was proper 80s. Family Guy was technically 89. I'm like, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
But Simpsons was like 81, wasn't it? It was very early.
No, actually, it was 89.
Oh.
It says 89.
Was I right about it? So maybe I was couching, but I was correct, actually, that it doesn't really count.
The Golden Girls. Baywatch. That makes sense.
It would.
Cheers. Twin Peaks was 90s. Why is it included?
Was it like 89 or something?
No, it was, well, maybe. Full House, 87.
Yeah.
Murder, She Wrote, 89 Family
What?
Matters. What?
Murder, She Wrote was 80s. I thought that was way older.
Yeah, me too, but nope.
Why is it only old people who watch it?
Magnum P.I., 80s.
I thought, I would have thought that was 70s just by reputation. It was a holdover.
Dynasty, 81. The Cosby Show, 84. So
See, there you go.
Later.
Psychic
Miami
damage.
Vice. Tales of MacGyver. Oh, I forgot about MacGyver.
That tracks.
The 18. Matlock. Oh, I hated that show hard. I really did. Perry Mason was infinitely better than Matlock.
Was Perry Mason 80s or do we pass it already?
I don't actually know. Quantum Leap was 80s. Knight Rider was 80s. That makes sense.
These are all making, lots of sense.
Alf.
I have no clue. I swear that it was like a fever dream that we all just had collectively.
I think it
That
was
got released and put on
cast-
TV.
I think it was a cast-off Muppet. They were like, "You go over there."
You go now!
Let's see what else.
I'm just going to play soft metal over over that guy's face for the last 5 minutes.
Highway to Heaven.
Chicka wicka chugga chicka wug chicka chicka wug chicka wicka jug.
Teams up with an ex-cop to help people. What show is this?
What?
Michael Landon is a fairly, like, he's the one who plays Pa in Laura Ingalls Wilder's, like, what is it called?
Okay.
And apparently he was in a sitcom before in '84 called Highway to Heaven. That's a really
Why would that?
probationary angel sent back to Earth teams up with an ex-cop to help people. It's like, okay. So bye.
Why is that?
This is a
You're
very
surprised that an actor would act in other things than what you know him in?
there's apparently a show about V for Vendetta, and it was in '84.
Really?
I am now interested in going back and watching.
That must because that was have presumably been based directly on the comic books.
Probably.
Did they have an?
DuckTales.
Because that would have been around the time the comic books were also released, so it must have been like a.
Unsolved Mysteries, The Twilight Zone, then re-released in the '80s. That's the one you're probably
That's not
thinking
surprising.
of. Fraggle Rock,
What?
which was also a cast-off of
No, Fraggle Rock was a show. For some reason, I thought Fraggle Rock was a movie. That was Jim Henson himself made that.
well, it's still Muppet cast-off.
Well, Jim, you've hurt Jim's feelings.
Okay. Jim.
I like how that guilt tripped you.
Inspector Gadget.
Of all the things I've accused you of, hurting Jim Henson's feeling was the most offensive.
That's a pretty important one.
Screw the Japanese, but Jim Henson, I don't want to make him upset.
Oh, the Super Mario Brothers show. I knew that. Yeah. Beetlejuice. Yep, knew that one too.
Was it a show? I thought it was
a show. And it
I
was
thought
a
the Super
bad
Mario
show.
Brothers movie was in the 80s.
No, it may have been, but the show.
I didn't know it also had a show.
Muppet Babies was that old? It's '84.
Well, the Muppets were from the 60s, so it's not that surprising.
AFV started in '87.
I swear this is zooming in. Isn't
I
it?
think it is. It's just we're gonna let it pan all the way up to his lonely and cold eye sockets.
Lonely. You're projecting something onto him. I was not. I got only menace from him. Do you think he's misunderstood?
Yes, I do.
Those hands grope that way because he just wants love.
Oh my! He's groping for the love he lost, or maybe the love he never had. These hands.
The cameras turn off and he's like, but I'm dying inside.
They look like big, strong hands, don't they? It's from... Come on now. It's the never-ending story.
I never saw that.
You probably aren't missing much. What else? Stingray, that's one that I recognize.
I don't.
13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. So apparently they repackaged Scooby-Doo every single freaking year.
Well, yeah, Scooby-Doo's been on since the 60s in
And-
some form or another.
Looney Tunes Comedy Hour, that's when it actually became like not just strictly about Bugs Bunny. Oh, Winnie the Pooh started in '88.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Snoopy or the Charlie Brown Show started in '83. I would have thought that one was older, but apparently not.
Well, the comics, I think, are older.
Dennis the Menace, Tom and Jerry Show, '80s, like 80 on the nose. Gumby's Adventures started in '88. I feel
Now,
like that was.
Tom and Jerry, are they not part of the broader Hanna-Barbera thing?
They are.
Or was that only after the fact that they got acquired or something like that?
No, I think it was all a part and parcel.
Also, how do you pronounce that? Did I say it right? Because you knew
Yeah,
what I meant.
Hanna-Barbera.
I've never known. Every time I've seen it, I'm like, is it Barbera?
Because Johnny Quest was also Hanna-Barbera, wasn't it?
I got no clue. I thought it was Johnny Test when you said it, so.
Flintstones again.
They had an 80s version?
Yep. Apparently.
I feel like I need to see all these now.
Berenstain Bears. That one I knew. Alvin and the Chipmunks I knew. Yogi Bear I knew. Let's see. Archie, that definitely tracks. Alf, but in a very terrible animated version, apparently in '87, which was really disturbing.
As if that could get worse. Wouldn't the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles been around this time? They seem like an 80s concept. Smackheads and whatnot.
Alf really needs to stay away from my television. He was all over the 80s. Apparently people loved him.
I suppose 60s everyone was on like LSD and whatnot. 80s is when everyone was on coke. And I think it's reflected in the television of the time.
It's reflected in Alf being present everywhere. And then it changed to the Van Dyke Show in '88, apparently.
What, because of censorship or something?
I don't know, but it still stars with Dick Van Dyke. But
Dick.
Because of
Dick, we love you.
Because of censorship. I'll pull up Dick on the internet.
Dick,
find out what.
darn it, change your name. It's not wholesome.
That's too funny. Nope, doesn't look like it. What was the specific show you were looking for?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles seems like an 80s concept. I would have also thought Transformers would be an 80s concept. Both poorly conceived stretches of an idea that somehow took hold culturally. I don't know why I have such venom for the Transformers, but I do. It was that one.
84.
It was that one Michael Bay version I had to sit through on a plane once.
83 was when it first started, and apparently it was the live.
It is
action,
a stupid concept. I will die on that hill, and I will take you all with me. Explain to me why, as far as I understand, they are aliens from some far-off planet who can turn themselves
84, yeah.
into man-made machinery from Earth. Explain how that evolves.
I don't know. Just lookalikes. I mean, the idea is not that.
Yeah, but they're meant to be an alien species. They're not actually like robots or nothing. Like they're meant to be an alien thing.
Well, cyborg-ish.
And so they can turn themselves, but see, they're not shapeshifters because they can only turn into. No, they can either be the humanoid robots or they can be the vehicle they are. They can't just be anything. Like Optimus Prime's a truck on some far-off planet, no matter what humans are doing.
Are you sure? I don't think that's true.
I mean, if Optimus Prime
I don't
transforms in the woods and no one's there to see it. My point is, they are always...
It's just some random log out there standing in the middle of the woods.
That's my point is, Optimus Prime looks like Optimus Prime.
The question is, does he make a noise when he falls down?
Well, yes, he makes that noise. But I'm just saying, they don't shapeshift, ever. They have the human standing up form and the riding robot, or the riding driving vehicle form. And they switch between those two. You're being awfully generous with the term shapeshifting if you can only shift between two shapes. So it's odd. It's always been a dumb concept. It's like they come from a far off planet, but they just happen to be able to mimic human automobiles. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Like we're in the pitch meeting right now.
It is. Here's the thing. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is an equally stupid idea, but it at least makes...
All right, picture this.
I can make
Radioactive
sense
turtles,
of it.
They fall into the sewer, and a rat teaches them karate.
Put me in a boardroom in the 80s with a lot of cocaine, and I'm certain that would have been said. I can absolutely imagine that pitch meeting. Because it is just, what would the kids think is cool? How about radioactive turtles that fight crime with kung fu? Yes, I can understand someone greenlighting that, but imagine alien robots that mimic human vehicles. Why? Because they do.
Can they turn into other things?
Yo, they could turn into trucks or standing robots and nothing else.
We'll get inside them. Yes.
Because what even is their deal? They're fighting amongst each other. Why are we involved?
They really just got excited about humans getting inside them.
Well, because do they... Okay, first of all, are humans even in the original show? Is it even set anywhere near Earth? Or is it just...
I have no idea.
Or is it just...
We've come from a far-off land.
Well, because now that
Fight them with
it occurs to me, like, the only time I know
that
that...
we're just here to get you inside of us.
The only time I know about Transformers being on Earth is in the terrible Michael Bay films. Are they never on Earth in the show? Because if that does, that raises even bigger questions about why they turn into human vehicles.
They're on Earth.
Okay, so humans are involved in the original show.
Yeah.
Then why did they involve us? They could have had their fight off in space.
How did they involve us? Well, that's a fair question. I think it's like their planet gets destroyed and we're the closest one to something, the star.
So they're...
The second star to the right. We're there, Neverland.
Well, thanks for involving us in intergalactic war, stupid robots. I don't know. I just find it a dumb concept, and its popularity has always angered me.
All of that to say, it's still something we're talking about in the 2020s. So I mean, there's that. So whoever it was in the 80s, more power to you.
And Coke.